My name is Bonnie Rateree, and I'm the director of the Harvey Community Center here in Harvey, Illinois. Actually, when I was about 12 years old, I said I wanted to grow up to just take care of all the people in the community, the old folk and the little kids, and protect them. And little did I know, as I look back across my life, I finally got the job that I really, really dreamed for. You know, when I was growing up, I really didn't know that Harvey was a poor community. My grandmother planted a garden across the street. We canned the food out of the garden and froze it, and we ate through the winter. We sewed, made our own clothes, and so there were a lot of things that we had that other communities had, so we really didn't know that this was a poor community. My dad worked at the factory. My grandma worked in the laundry at the hospital. But in the recent years, say the last 20, 30 years, we lost a lot of our resources, our income. My dad's factory closed down, as did most of the steel mills, the factories, the refinery, Dixie Square Shopping Center. So the jobs are gone. And so with the loss of jobs, you see a lot of the deprivation. What I love most about this community is its resilience. These people just keep getting up and keep trying and keep working at it. But we got health problems. Our schools, I sit on our local school board. I started kindergarten in that school district, and now I'm a board member. We've got a lot of economic problems. Emil Jones, when he was with the Senate, came and spoke at one of our events, and he said, if a child was born in River Forest, he had a great opportunity for everything he needed, education, recreation, you name it. There was money for it, there were resources. But if a kid was born at the same time in Harvey, Illinois, he didn't have those opportunities. It's not fair. And we keep working here trying to make it equalize the playing field, but we're starting off with an unfair system. But what I have seen is that when we come together institutionally, the Harvey Community Center, the school district, the high school, the Park District, these are institutions that historically, when I was growing up, kept us out. I lived in the black community, it was on the west side of Harvey. We couldn't even get support to bring programs into our parks for our kids. So I volunteered. Institutionally, since Columbus discovered America, there have been things that have been put in place that discriminates against people of color, against women, and against poor people. And so I just believe that we have to come together, because what I love about America, it's a democracy. Mm-hmm. And if we were to come together and speak on these issues and work together to solve our problems, I believe that you think globally, but you work locally. And so here in Harvey, we have an opportunity to work together to make some change. So if we had economic development in Harvey and our money went around more than one time before it left Harvey, then I think we'd have better housing. We'd have children with more things in their households that they need to grow and be healthy. And we'd have parks and activities in our schools that would be beneficial. In poor communities, in communities like mine, there's this food desert, they call it. And it just means that there's not a lot of healthy food. This store that I'm standing in front of, I am very proud to say, last year entered into a project with us, and they now provide healthy vegetables, healthy fruits, healthy foods, frozen or fresh. The neighborhood began to respond immediately. We're eating hot chips because that's all you can buy. I mean, if people can't get to a store outside of Harvey, I mean, you got to get a bus, a train, or have a car, and pay all this gas money. The corner store at the other end, I cooked some healthy food and demonstrated it and gave it out to some of the patrons of his store. Now he wants me to come in every month and do that. And so in the process, I mean, talking about to make some hamburger soup, vegetable soup, you make it in 20 minutes, just little things that they were able to do, things you could buy right there in the store. Corn meal, and make your own cornbread. And people ask me, we give them the recipes, we give them the advice. Your kid's diabetes, your mother's asthma, all of these things can be food related. Kids, the only thing I think is going to be healthy is their fingers from working with the computers and the phones. And so I think it's real important to teach them to be active. So at this community center, hey, they got to get out and run. They got to plant their own food. They eat lunch and then they go out and plant lunch. You know, they ate string beans a couple of weeks ago, and when they got finished eating, I said, okay, everybody, take this cup, fill it with water, and follow me. We went to the garden. I gave them each a bean. I said, okay, stick your finger in the ground like that, put the bean in, cover it up, pour the water on with the cup. You just planted your string beans for the end of the summer. I guess I would want to say to them, welcome to my world, number one. And I would bet that the stories from all other parts of this country, everybody on that team, has a similar story to mine. And so I'm thinking, let's collaborate. Let's talk about what I can do here in Harvey with my local government, with my legislators, with the churches, with the people in my neighborhood. What can I do that you can do, that we all can pool our resources and our voices to make some change, to do the right thing? All the research is done. I knew these things from living them. But the research is out there now. Everybody's done their studies, and you know what's going on in our communities. And you know it's not fair. And you know that people are dying and living short lives just because of some decisions of some insensitive people who are living all right. So I'm saying to all of you, let's come together and let's raise our voices strongly about these injustices. Most of these people have religious backgrounds. They say they love people. They want to do the right thing. Well, how in the world can you make decisions that doesn't bring resources to a community that so desperately needs it? When you see infant mortality rates in my community at the level that they are, worse than some third world countries, then come on now. Somebody's got to stand up with me and deal with this. Because I know if we stood up and we said what needed to be done, and then we stood behind what we say, enough studying and no action. Enough wild action and no studying. Let's put it all together, you guys. And let's make it happen. Let's make change. We can do that. We deal with 60 kids in our summer camp here. And those kids learn to plant their own garden. They learned history. When we talked about, we went on a tour of the center, and when they got to the Native American display, and I was able to say to them, how would you like it if I came over your house, grabbed your mom's remote, sat in your dad's easy chair and said, ooh, look at this house I discovered. You can't discover a place if people are already there.